Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back. I hope you're having a positive day. We are about to do our second part of this journey for our London exploring, and we have some fun things planned today. We're thinking the Natural History Museum, get some breakfast, and then also possibly St. Paul's Cathedral. So lots of fun things planned. We'll see what we get up to throughout the day, find some food for dinner, and I hope you guys enjoy coming along with us. We started on the Circle Line, and I definitely recommend Circle Line and the Elizabeth Line, but it definitely got super crowded pretty quickly on the Circle Line, so just popular areas, but it's pretty popular with the public transportation anyways. We don't recommend the Piccadilly Line underground because it's super old and busy. But the Circle Line was nice and clean, and the Elizabeth Line, of course, is clean. The tubes or trains are pretty busy even during the week, so just keep that in mind. It's pretty common. It seems that May, June, and July are the busiest times of year for tourism, otherwise pretty fair game. When we went over to breakfast, and something to note is that we did bring £70 in cash, so about $100 United States, and we used some of it because American Express and Discover weren't accepted at all places, or they had issues taking it. So Visa is definitely more universal and useful for a trip like this. We also saw that we had 3 matching people to us, so 2 of them matched Daniel and 1 of them matched me, so it was pretty funny. This guy was wearing the same jacket as me, and Daniel found someone with the same shirt as him, so that was pretty funny. This was just a nice little spot that we ate at before we headed out for the day, so I got a tomato panini and some orange juice, and Daniel got a full English breakfast. We headed over to the Natural History Museum. The Natural History Museum is free, but you do pick a time slot to enter, although they didn't seem very strict on that. They didn't check us for the time or anything, so we actually got in early, but it is totally free. I definitely recommend checking it out. It is humongous, and some notes that I would make is half of the building seemed to not have AC, or it was just a lot hotter in that section, which was the second part of our, walking tour area. So it was very warm. They do have a cafe in there so you can get some food if you need to, but this will definitely take a good hour walking around. Also, it was super busy, and it seemed like a lot of kids and field trips were going on. We saw a lot of matching groups, so keep that in mind. This was a Monday, so we were pretty surprised by that. I'm also going to take this opportunity while we're going through the museum to talk about some more transportation for London. So kind of seeing the driving direction is opposite, but not the walking. So I thought that it would be polite to be on the left-hand side, but it seems that everyone's kind of going either way. So it's mainly just driving, and I thought that was weird and something to note. I definitely always saw everyone standing on the right and walking on the left, which is common in America as well. So things like escalators is going to be pretty popular for that. So people walking faster or walking in general can be getting on their way and you're not in the way. Also, keep a lookout for bicycles and motorcycles. They do kind of have their own separate lane sometimes, and you can not see them coming, so definitely look both ways, no matter what. It seems to be okay to jaywalk. I saw even cops doing it, so you can jaywalk and not wait for the signal if you feel safe to cross. It's just at your discretion. So mainly being tourists, we waited for the light, but there was some moments when it was clearly safe to go. Nobody was on their way over, so we ended up jaywalking a few times. We also had a few emergencies that we saw on our exploration of London. So the first and second day had an emergency. One of them was a pregnant woman on a bus. I don't know if she was overheating or what, but we had to stop and call for an ambulance, and we ended up waiting for so long that they just, brought a new bus for us. So we were able to get to our destination, but she seemed to be okay. Everyone was giving her some water. One man hit his head on the tube or the train just before we got on. So someone did call to help him, but he seemed pretty fine. I guess he walked off on his own, but a native Londoner was pretty concerned about it, so that was sweet. The third day, we did see some people running across the street into a shop, and then some more people running after them, and then I think a cop car or some kind of emergency vehicle showed up. So I'm not sure what that was about, but it seemed kind of drama. Also, a cop and a man in the airport were fighting. It seemed like the cop was a little nicer than American cops would be. He was definitely repeating himself, not using force. So he had some good patience, but the guy was kind of yelling at him, and it was just a lot. But I mean, that's the city, right? I loved walking around the Natural History Museum. Some things we were curious about was how many are replicas and how many are actual fossils, because you can definitely see some of the differences. Like, of course, the whale is not real, but some of the bones, you can just see the age on them and how old they really are. So those ones we could tell were real. We headed over to StPauls Cathedral. They did not allow videography, but they did allow still photos. So hopefully you enjoy seeing these photos I got of the inside. It was absolutely breathtaking. I definitely recommend you visiting this spot on your trip. Even the exterior and the buildings around it were just so pretty. It looked like there was two different fronts to the area. One had this big statue in front of it and the more column style front. And then there was more of the dome front side building that we entered into. So it was very nice, very pretty, and luxe. Around the cathedral, they did have really cute little food stands, little shed style, and we got some food. We also went over to Starbucks and was able to get a strawberry acai, which is my favorite, but it is very different here, so I actually returned it. It was way too sweet. This is a newer bus, so it had some USB. And just note that the buses can divert. We also use the City Mapper app a lot and Go City for attractions. I recommend getting a lanyard to go around your neck for your Oyster card because you are going to use it for every single tube ride and bus ride. So it's really convenient to have it so easily at hand. We went over to King's Cross Station, which has, of course, platform 9 3/4 if you're a Harry Potter fan like I am. And they have a cute little Harry Potter shop. There's a big line to get in, so you have to wait in line. And it's totally worth it. There's so many things in there that you can get that I haven't seen in other shops. So I gave a little bit of a tour there. We were pretty surprised in this trip not to have so many British accents around us. There were definitely some, but it's a lot more Middle Eastern atmosphere and influences in London. And you have this photo opportunity that they'll take your photo and you pay for it if you want to stand in line and get that done. The St. Pancras, I always say Pancreas, I don't know why. But St. Pancras Station had this beautiful statue by Paul Day, it looked like. And it was just like a couple, kind of reminded me of the after war picture of the sailor kissing the nurse. Super cute. We just walked around here for a little bit. And then it was super fun. We decided with our extra time to try to find some Harry Potter filming, idea locations that sparked the interest. So this was the area for the Order of the Phoenix home. So Sirius's family home. This was another spot, which was inspiration for Diagon Alley. Cute. Welcome back to our humble abode, our hotel room. Wow, it was a long day, very, very windy. So my allergies and Daniel's allergies have been acting up like crazy. I've gotten a lot of stuff in my eye as well, so they're a little red. Daniel just went downstairs to get some food that we had Uber Eats ordered to the hotel. So you can still do that here, which is great. We have finally found something on TV. It took a little bit to come on, but ITV2 seems to be the best channel, at least for the hotel, of what they offer. So we found a little bit of like American Dad, Family Guy kind of bedtime shows, I guess, to have in the background. And we've been here for a little bit now. We got in a little early, about 9 o'clock or so at night. So we've just been relaxing, and we have just our last day tomorrow, so we're going to plan that out and make sure we get everything else for the day done. I've been playing a little bit of Animal Crossing on my Switch, and we did a lot of exploring some Harry Potter kind of film or inspiration areas, and Daniel's big on the trains. He has like a train game he plays, so we saw a lot of the stations as well, so that was pretty cool, along with the other things that we had done that were big. So tomorrow should be a hop-on hop-off bus tour and a tour of Westminster Abbey, and then I think there's a couple things that we want to squeeze in as well, maybe for pictures, but otherwise just more exploring on our last day. Then we get up super early, but really early in the morning for the flight home on the 5th. So we have 4 chances. So we're going to try to get all 4 of those. So being at the airport, everything's looking good, so we might just get that first one and get home at a pretty decent time, hopefully in a better seat as well. So we shall see, but very excited for tomorrow, our last full day. Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, I'm so sleepy. Our allergies are still going a little haywire this morning, but I am just wearing this outfit. It's the same pants, but a different shirt because it is colder outside than it was forecasted to be this week. So I'm definitely keeping the pants on. Shorts and dresses are not going to cut it like I packed. Otherwise, we are just waking up still and about to get out the door to go catch some breakfast. And then hopefully Westminster Abbey has some availability where we can get in, get a nice long tour, and then hop on the hop-on, hop-off bus, which is like 3.5 hours long. So we can get lots of history and tour guide information hopefully sit at the top of the bus for some good views, and then just relax and figure out what else to do for the rest of our last day. So come along. We found a cute little cafe place to eat at by Westminster Abbey. It was hard to find though. You can see us definitely confused trying to figure out if we were in the right spot. So it's kind of through a office area, not much, but we found a cute little patio that we can eat outside on. So we got just a simple beans on toast and English breakfast before Westminster. Then we headed into Westminster Abbey. You can spend £10 to have an hour-and-a-half tour, which we did. You get a little bit of behind the scenes, so it's definitely worth it. This is where they have all of the royal weddings. There's a lot of memorials here and a few people buried, including big names. They also have this red rose-covered memorial for a soldier that died. They don't have a name for him. Even the royals themselves walking in for weddings or ceremonies don't step on this section. This really old picture, the fourth on the bottom, that shows two paintings. These are really old paintings from the 1200s and it's next to the Shakespeare Memorial. We got to sit in the choir section where there's a bunch of countries that participated in making this chapel. It's very beautiful. They even have the coronation chair here, which is been used since the 1300s. There's also initials carved in graffiti from schoolboys in the 1700s on this chair. The royals will enter from the west side, and this is a Catholic church, but it's not part of the Pope. They actually answer to the king or queen. It's not part of the Catholic Church. The throne during ceremonies will actually face east towards Jerusalem for God. And behind the scenes, we saw St. Edward, his tomb from the 1200s. You cannot photograph it at all. And there's tile ground that actually was pilgrimaged because they thought it would keep them safe being from a sacred grave. Next, we decided to use our passes to get on the hop-on, hop-off experience tour. We ended up not really enjoying this too much, unfortunately. It did start raining, that was a big part of it. Of course, we were up at the top trying to get the best view and get clips for you guys, but it started raining, so we got wet. We were not given headphones when we got on, so we had to go back down and get those when we stopped. You plug it in, and it's just some simple headphones, and it was just hard to see certain areas. We kind of drove pretty close to some spots, so we enjoyed it for a little bit. It just wasn't something that we, I guess, recommend, or maybe we would have to try it again, and it just might have been a bad moment. But when it started raining, everyone got on the bus. We went down to shield ourselves from the rain, and everyone, even not doing the experience, got on. So it got super crowded. We did see the Stone Arch, I believe is the official name. Also, random fact, when we were at the London Zoo, we saw a stand for candy floss, which is cotton candy, for Americans at least, so I guess they call it candy floss, which is cute. We decided to get off of the tour and just explore some more on our own. It is quite windy in London, so I definitely recommend having a brush in your bag. I saw some people doing that and thought it was very smart. we stopped in to get some food, and I stopped at Crispy's, and honestly, I don't recommend them. I'm sorry, but it was not good for me. Personally, I did not care for the chicken specifically, had a weird taste to me, but I got buffalo and it was super spicy, which I love spice. The fries were not crispy, but got us some fuel, and then we got Daniel a jacket because he was pretty cold. He had his mind set on a specific logo that he kind of wanted, saying "Mind the Gap," because that's what you hear a lot when you're getting onto the train. And then I saw these Doritos, which were named something different, so Chili Heat Wave and Cool Original instead of Nacho Cheese and Cool Ranch. While we were out, we saw this super cute little French restaurant next to the River Thames and London Bridge. So we decided to stop in there for a more romantic end of the trip dinner and got some steak and some madeleines. Then, to give us the best experience, and our feet were pretty wet from the rain, we decided to get on the Heathrow Express, which takes you directly one stop all the way back to the airport. So since we were pretty far, it was a good investment. This was £25 a person, and it's super quiet, super clean, has a bathroom, luggage area, USB and European outlets, and like I said, it's just one direct trip all the way back to the airport, which was perfect for where our hotel was. So this cut a lot of time having to make the stops on the other public busy trains. Hello, hello. We are back in our hotel room yet again. We are just finished with the last day of this trip. Super fun overall. Just had kind of an interesting day. We got a lot of rain, just more sprinkles throughout the whole day, but it got really cold, windy, and raining on and off all day. So had to use the umbrella, and the hop on hop off bus tour kind of got ruined, I guess, from having the rain making us go down into the bus so that we weren't getting rained on, and then we really couldn't see much, and it seemed that people were kind of getting on just to escape the rain and not be listening to the audio recording of where you're going and things like that. So it got really crowded. It kind of felt like we were on the tube or the train again. So it wasn't to our expectations at all, let alone the audio part instead of an actual tour guide like we thought it would be. So we just ended up not doing that very long. But Westminster Abbey was super fun. We got a lot of information on that. They also did not, because it's a cathedral and they have worship during the day and everything too, they also did not let us do any video recording or audio recording, just still pictures. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing all of that. But I'm gonna end you here, and then we'll go, back home, and we'll kind of do like a recap of everything as well, final thoughts, things like that. But we're really excited to see how the flight goes back home. It'll be a little bit longer this time going back, and we're hoping to maybe get a business class seat, possibly premium economy. So hopefully just not economy, because that was very tight, and of course we've been in lots of crowds with the city. So we'll see what seat we end up getting, and of course show you that as well. Hoping for a nice smooth ride home. We're going straight there early in the morning tomorrow. So we'll see you when we're back in the States. Now, before we go, I wanted to show you a little bit more of the hotel in case you were interested. They do have this door that just doesn't close. It definitely leaves water on the ground, so it's not very functional for me. And then they had some shampoo, gel, and conditioner, as well as lotion and hand wash. They have a railing in the shower, which is very handy and helpful, couple of them, so that way you don't slip and fall. Amazingly, getting back on the flight was pretty interesting. So we got business class, which was amazing, definitely a great experience, and be able to show you guys what that's like. I know last minute fare for it is $13,000 or something crazy like that. So it was good to be able to experience what that could get you. It just wasn't a very full flight. There was definitely some open seating left available. We didn't have to wait for this one. We got it quite quickly. But they were very strict on liquids, so I'll show you a little bit of that later. But business class, the big thing for me, I didn't like that people, especially stewardess, had to go through the aisles so much to get back to economy and things like that. So first class, you wouldn't have that problem. But you get a whole menu, you get a starter meal, then an entree, and then kind of like a lunch when you're about to land. They also gave all this food besides the lunch right at the beginning. So the flight felt quite long, I guess, because it wasn't spread out. I felt like I was constantly eating the first hour. But they give you this cute little toiletry bag that gives you all sorts of toothbrush and earplugs and stuff. So that would be really helpful if you don't have that stuff with you when you're going on to a trip. We did not end up taking this because we have that stuff and we didn't want to collect any unnecessary items. So we left it there for them to use for the next guest. And then they have a bigger table. The TV pops out right in front of you, so it's much bigger. You have a lot of leg room and arm room, so that's kind of the best part for me, is I didn't feel so claustrophobic. They give you a starter beverage, and of course, there's a little snack lounge that you can get up and help yourself to during the flight as well. I mainly just kicked my feet up. I watched like 3 Harry Potter movies and played on my Switch. They give you some nuts, a little snack, a hot towel, which I used on my face just to freshen up. And then they had this yummy croissant, and the starter was like the salmon thing, which I don't eat fish, so I unfortunately had to waste that. But Daniel said it was pretty good, and then they had some fresh fruit, which was nice. I got the sirloin, so that's what this is, with a little potato cake kind of thing. I really liked the sauce. It was kind of like a hummus. And then they had a vanilla ice cream dessert you could get. This was Daniel's. A big thing for me was the Sprite. I don't know if it's everywhere in London, but I got Sprite in London, and I also got it on the plane, and they were both the low-calorie kind of diet Sprite, which I did not like. So trying to show you some of the snacks, kind of hard with the lighting, but they had a couple sandwiches, fruit, veggies, chips, popcorn. This was the lunch. It was like an orzo pasta, which was actually pretty good, and then a little mousse dessert. This is the bag that I always use for my toiletries when I go out places traveling in the United States. So this is what I used to get to the UK, and it worked fine. But coming back, they required the liquids all be in this plastic bag, which for the US at least, you have to have a quart-sized bag, so this one works fine. It's just a little bit bigger. And they haven't had a problem with it, but this one ends here. So it's smaller than a quart, to my understanding, but all your liquids have to fit in here and close, 1 per person. So I had to transfer everything out of here into here, and then anything that didn't fit had to be thrown out. So that was something Daniel did not see on the website the night before we left. He looked it up. So I definitely have to replace a few things of makeup that couldn't fit in here, and we were definitely a little annoyed by that. So it's been about a week now since we actually got back from our London vacation. I did end up getting a cold once I got back about the day after, so if you hear that, I'm 98% better. I still have a little bit of sinus stuff, but that's why it took me a little bit to do the ending. But we are back home, and the vacation was absolutely fabulous. It was a great opportunity and experience for me, being my first out of country full exploration kind of trip, not the cruise, couple hours each day at some place. So it was super fun, a lot of information and new things and new experiences that I'm so grateful to have the memories to remember it by. And I'm already having so much fun editing and watching everything back and seeing the pictures, so definitely a trip to remember. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us, and I'm super excited for all the future things to happen as well. So I hope you stay sticking along and seeing all the fun that we get up to. Other than that, have a great day. Stay positive.